immediately got a pit in my stomach. So
Oh
I'm like
no.
driving her, and she goes, "Can you turn here?" And I'm like, "Okay." And then she's like, "Turn here," and I'm like, "Okay."
I think it's adoption just like any other adoption, and I think it's a viable solution to this kind of thing.
Do you think what's better, beauty or comfort? Like, which one do you put forth?
I don't think you have to choose.
Yes, you do sometimes.
No, no. Oh my
So,
gosh,
no.
another debate is about to happen.
Can't relate to cancel culture, hookup culture, or victim culture?
Well, neither could we. We created this platform for those other girls. Girls like us who want to give a different perspective from a Christian and conservative worldview.
We talk about life, work, relationships, pop culture, and everything in between. So let's be those other girls that just don't talk about culture,
but change culture.
Hello, everybody. You are listening to Those Other Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory.
I'm Freeman.
And we are changing culture and bringing back traditional values. Hello, everybody. Welcome back, Freeman. It's
Oh
been
my
a hot
gosh.
second.
It has. I'm so glad to be back though. I've missed it.
We have missed you. And I can speak for everyone in the Other Girls universe. We have
In the
genuinely
world.
missed you. Yeah, in the world, really. I mean, everyone that has been holding their breath, like, okay, when is Freeman getting back? All right, enough of the gas. Freeman, where's Freeman?
Oh my gosh.
But no, got a really good feedback on Savannah's episode too. Savannah filled in last week and got a lot of good feedback on hers. So
yeah, she was awesome. Loved Isabel. Loved it all. I'm so glad that we have like other people and it's not totally just us, you know, something
yes.
crazy happens. So it's good to be back. I had some personal things going on back in Alabama. I had a loved one pass away, so I was really grateful to be able to take time and be with my family. So now I'm back and I'm ready to be talking about TOG things.
Yay. Anything exciting happened this week? Anything in your life you want to chat about?
Okay, so something that Savannah does is she does a classy moment and a trashy moment.
Oh
And
yeah, on her podcast. Okay.
yeah, and I've been thinking about that. So my trashy moment was I was walking out of my apartment building the other day wearing like a pro-life t-shirt, and somebody walking in my apartment building was wearing a t-shirt that said "On the left side of history." And we both kind of just like looked I said hi. I was like nice about it.
Yeah.
And this person, I believe was a female. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
But they kind of just looked at me. I think they were very confused by the t-shirt. To be
Which
more
one
than
was it?
it was women's rights begin in the womb. So I think
Okay.
like I think they were trying to figure out like what I meant by that. Anyways, that was kind of like a funny, awkward moment.
That's a good shirt because it looks that is from Life
Live action. Mm-hmm.
Oh, live action. Oh, it's the live action one.
Yeah.
Okay, because Life Empower Life Co. has one
Yep.
too.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. I wear that one sometimes, and that one looks like a popular t-shirt. So people are always like extra staring.
And they
The
say
live
women's
action one's cute
rights.
too. Yeah, exactly. The live action one's cute too, and that's a good one. But I
Yeah.
thought it was a good one.
And then my classy moment was I am going to be trying out for this job this weekend. We'll see how it goes. I'm shadowing. It's a very, very high-end, like kind of cocktail bar. My trashy moment of my classy moment is that I don't know anything about alcohol. So I need to learn and hopefully it'll go well. I'm not going to disclose where it is because I don't want all the fans to like show up and embarrass me with how
Right?
much they
Yeah,
love
we
me.
can't have that.
I
Everyone
know. You
flooding.
guys are just gonna like come in and give me
Yeah.
all your tips, and I just can't have
No,
that. It would be
we
unprofessional.
cannot. Yeah. Cannot have.
So, what is your classy and trashy moment of the
Okay.
last week?
Classy and trashy. I don't
And by the way, we're
know.
not stealing this from Savannah. We're not going to do this ever again because I don't want us to steal it. It's her thing. We're not taking credit for it.
Yeah. I guess my trashy moment would be dead silence. I don't want to have dead silence.
I can cut it.
No, let's keep this honest, real, and raw.
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to think, what did I do last weekend? What was last weekend?
We went, I
Oh,
can think of a trashy moment of last weekend.
gosh. So we were supposed to go to this Barbie brunch thing and stood in line for like an hour and a half, almost
In the
2
sun.
hours in the sun. And it was 21 and up. So that was very, very annoying and frustrating and sad. And
we weren't gonna, like,
we
as a
can't
group, we weren't gonna
separate.
divide and
No, we
conquer.
can't. No. That's just not the right thing to do. Did it
You were
cross my
sweet.
mind? Of course it did. But that's not the right thing to do. And that's not what you do to your friends. It's not what you do to your friends. And at the end of the day, it's not like it's not like it's never gonna happen again. Maybe
Sure.
the Barbie might not ever happen again, but like experiences or nights like that or brunches like that will happen again. And it was really kind of the activity was for us to be together, so it wouldn't make sense for me to go up there by myself and then everybody else be someplace else, or just one person be it didn't, so that was trashy.
That was trashy.
And
You'd think they'd have put up a sign or something.
Yeah, you think they would have said 21 plus somewhere. I mean, I guess I get they've assumed because it is a bar and it is the Barbie movie, but
anyway. I brought
Anyway.
Andy into bars, and when he was 20.
I guess it also depends on like where, you know what I mean? Like some bars will be like, I mean, the place we went to for the Taylor Swift thing was 18 plus, but like certain ones are 21 plus. I think if they, because I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And then my classy moment, I guess will lead into something I want to talk about for 2 seconds. The Barbie movie. I went and saw it.
It was a classy moment.
I actually enjoyed it. I thought, first of all, so I'm going to talk to the people first who are like, anti-Barbie movie, it's feminist, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to talk to you guys first. If you want to be offended by what happens in the movie, you absolutely can. There are things that if you want to be offended, you can be offended by. There's some really funny jokes. I really want to tell this one joke, but I'm not. I'm going to do an oops spoiler about it. That'll be the first oops spoiler of the year. That I'll tell a joke in there. So if you're not going to see the movie and you want me to spoil it all, watch oops spoilers next Wednesday. But, so like, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. So if you think it's too feminist or blah, 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 not trying to dismiss you, but I'm not really caring about your opinion right now. Okay, for the girls that are going to see it, it's super fun. Make sure you dress up with your girlies. Wear lots of pink. It was packed. We went to like supposed to be a special showing, but like all they had was just like fun music before. I thought it was going to be like beach balls and like I thought someone was going to come out and dance for us or something. It wasn't that at all. Food. I mean, there were food, but like it wasn't included in the ticket. But anyway, I'm glad I saw it. It was a fun experience. Take lots of pictures with your friends. One of my friends sent me pictures with her in like the little Barbie mannequin thing. We didn't even have that at ours, and I asked her, I was like, how did you guys get that? But they went to like a kind of a family owned type of movie theater. So I'm like, I'm gonna see it again with a couple other people. So maybe I'll try to find like a different brand. So go have fun. It was really funny. I mean, so there were guys and girls there. There were gay guys, of course. And there were like people who came with their boyfriend. They brought their boyfriends, and their boyfriends dressed up, which I thought was super cute. Or
that's
husbands. And the girl sitting beside me, her husband, boyfriend, whoever, was enjoying himself. He was laughing because there's just such funny moments, and like you just gotta be in on the joke. I don't know. It was so fun.
I love that. I love that.
There were 2 moments though that like I cried that were actually pretty deep. And once again, that's if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't type of moment. I don't want to say too much about it. I'll talk more about that on Oops Spoilers, but 2 times that I cried. There is one of the Barbies curses, but they bleep it out because Barbies don't curse, which I absolutely love.
Okay.
And then there was no sex scenes, but you guys have already seen the I'm gonna beat you up scene. That was the only sexual innuendo that they had. And then,
Okay.
and you've seen the one where the guy slaps her butt, which is very inappropriate. But here's the thing, it shows it like that's the wrong thing. Like that's not good. Like you're not supposed to slap women's butts. And I also want to say this other thing too, and then I'll stop talking about it because I don't want to make it too long because like I said, I'm gonna do spoilers about it. I think a lot of times with stuff like this, you should not take it personally or be offended if it doesn't apply to you. So what's that? It's like this thing sometimes people say when people get all upset on their Facebook posts or something. They'll be like, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Like, if you're not slapping women's butts, if you're not being incredibly vulgar to women, I don't know why you would get offended because it is wrong. Like, that is wrong. And really quick, I want to read to you guys my friend on Facebook. I don't think we've met in real life, but he's a nice gentleman. He posted, really quick, he posted a quick kind of-ish review from a male, and he's a conservative. He said, Barbie isn't just a fun movie, but actually a good analysis of society and gender relations. It explores the ideas of toxic masculinity and toxic femininity, and how both lead to broken societies. A large part of the movie is the idea of a broken and emasculated man, and the danger it poses for society, and how they can connect to dangerous ideas. At the same time, it explores that a female-led society is also not perfect and faces its own difficulties. The humor of the movie makes it fun and enjoyable. While there are definitely times of men hatred, there's also criticism of black and white culture that cancels things on the basis without exploring them in depth. This movie is a great step forward in fixing our society, and it can help bridge the gap between men and women and fix the division that we are facing today. I thought that was a decent analysis.
Sounds good. I haven't seen it. I can't make a statement on it, unfortunately, but I'm so glad that you took away all those good things.
I enjoyed it. I recommend it. And I will say, someone said that there is a trans character. Had no idea. Like, literally, I woke up this morning to the news because they didn't hint at it.
Yeah.
The person didn't look like it to me. So if, that's a big thing to you, then there you go. But like, I literally had no idea.
Yeah.
And there wasn't even, and there's nothing even sexual about the entire movie. And that's all I'll say about that part. Okay. So that was my classy moment. And that was kind of the highlight of my week. Well, to be honest, the highlight of my week is doing the podcast. So that tells you how exciting my life is. But the highlight of my week is the podcast, and the movie is like literally like right under it, especially because I am going to do an oops spoilers about the movie. So that's a little bit about me.
Well, I love that for you, and I'm also excited for our stories today. So shall we clink?
Yes, we should. We have a lot to discuss. Are you ready?
We really do. Actually, we mean it this time.
Sorry. Announcements. I want to do announcements real quick.
Yep.
Merch. Freeman, show your shirt really quick. We have these pro woman, pro science, pro life t-shirts. They're great. Perfect for any rallies you're going to, any events you're going to. I wear mine whenever I go out now to like an event, pro life event. We also have these. Someone called this a Stanley. Not quite, but close. A Stanley cup. It's like, oh, that's such a cute Stanley. And you know what? It isn't, but it is. Really cute. Keeps liquids. We have so much more merch on the site. Also, we have an app. Join the app, join the conversation. Whenever this episode, we're going to have a couple of conversation pieces that you're going to want to be a part of. So also make sure you're following us on Instagram, because we talk a lot about what we talk about on the podcast on Instagram. And lastly, join our Patreon. The Freeman Free For All Fridays are on there. It's exclusive. That's the only place you're going to be able to watch them. And you're not going to want to miss some of the conversations she's having. She's done amazing. It's really great. We're going to have more things on there too. You should definitely join. And if you are enjoying the podcast and you do really want to help support, we have some things in the works that we're going to do that we really do need financial help with. So if you would like to help it, $5 a month, simple, easy, would really be beneficial. If not, you can also do $60 a month. That's also an option. That would also be very beneficial.
Or somewhere in between.
Or somewhere in between. Yes, it's not, the options are not 5 or 60. There's a 20 and a 40 in there as well.
You're either with us or you're not.
Yeah. You're either really financing it or you're just no,
yeah.
but
Or you're
join the
a second-class
Patreon.
citizen.
Right. Join the Patreon. You're gonna love it, and we have some more exclusive things that are gonna be in there as well. And there's gonna be announcements for things. Those will be in the Patreon first. When we have more events, because we are gonna have some more events, those will be in the Patreon first. So if you want to be the first to get to know about those type of things, Patreon. Okay, now we can clink. Are you ready?
Okay. I got ahead of myself. Ready?
No,
Shall
okay.
we?
Oh yes, we shall.
Cute.
Okay. Love. All right, so first, there's like 3 quick stories I'm just announcing. There's not really much to discuss unless you want to say anything yourself, but kind of like quick, like, ooh, this is what's happened this week. For those that do, if you are an avid listener, you remember a couple weeks ago I had mentioned I was listening to a podcast about the Long Island serial killer. And they found him. Well, okay. So there could be 2 serial killers really quick. They are putting the Long Island serial killer list is what they called him. He was someone who they found a myriad of bodies in a specific area. So they're saying, and some of them, the MO was a little different. So some of them, like, he might put the head here and the body someplace else. And then some of them, it was just the body. Yeah, it's actually really awful. I won't get into complete detail on that. Anyway, they found the person who they know killed 4 of the people. They're thinking that he's connected to the others, but they're still working on that. But they know for a fact they found someone who killed 4 of the people. And one of the people that they found, or one of the people that they know he killed, is the person that was interviewed for the First Degree podcast. I'll make sure I link that. And it was, which is, the person that was killed is the sister of the person who was on the First Degree podcast. Whoa. So I'm really glad they found her, because her interview was very compelling. You can tell she was hurting so much, and I'm sure it's all the families are, but obviously, because that's the one I heard, I'm just so happy they found the killer, because and it was eating her up alive. Really quick, I said I wasn't going to talk too much about them, but really quick, these were women who were prostitutes. They were women who society, so they're already living in a high-risk lifestyle, and people don't really care about prostitutes because of that. And during that time when they went missing, their like news reporters were like made comments kind of along the lines of like, oh, at least it's just the prostitutes, things like that.
Oh my
which
gosh.
is awful and evil and terrible. Is it a high-risk lifestyle? Absolutely. Is it something we should be helping women get out of? Absolutely. But they're still humans that deserve dignity. Anyway, really glad they found the killer for that. Second thing, if you guys have been keeping up with the Alyssa Turney, I announced this last year. Her dad, Michael Turney, who allegedly murdered her. Allegedly. I guess it's not alleged anymore because they acquitted him. And I remember announcing it. I remember being so happy. They got him. And then they acquitted him. So there's that. And then last thing, I will talk a teensy bit about this more. If you guys follow me on Instagram, and I want to say I even shared it on Those Are the Girls page, last week, a lady, Carlee Russel, went missing. And it was this big thing. I remember thinking...
In Alabama.
In Alabama. Oh, yeah. Alabama. That's where your family's from.
It is.
Was it close to where your family is?
Yeah. I mean, Hoover is pretty close to Trustful.
Wow. So she went missing. And I remember seeing it. And this is what's so hard. I guess this is kind of even be a story. I was seeing it and I was just kind of like, my initial thing was like, this does feel a little iffy. And I think I even said, like, this feels kind of strange. I'm not 100% sure if this is real, but it's better safe than sorry.
Yeah, you don't want to victim blame.
Exactly. Well, okay, let me explain the situation. So
you're like, well, we're about to.
Oh, wait, do you not know the updates?
I think I do. Do I not?
If you think there's victim blaming, then you must not know the updates. Okay. I'll tell you. Good. You're going to learn this in real time. Don't even look anything up. Just pay attention.
Okay, because I was.
I feel like you don't know. I feel like you don't know. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so for those that do not know what's going on, this woman goes missing. She is on the phone with police and her family and says, oh my goodness, she sees a baby walking and she wants to find it. So she goes to find the baby, then drops the phone and they hear her screaming and she's gone. She's disappeared. So all of the country pretty much was like trying to find her. We gotta find her. We gotta find her. 2 days later, she shows back up at her house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, weird, strange. Praise God she's out. Okay. She was lying. Did you know this?
Well, you wrote in our thing, Carlee Russel lying.
Oh, yeah! In the docket. You're right. Okay, never mind.
Verbatim. So, yes.
Okay. Do you know the details behind it?
I don't know. I don't know the details, but I know she was lying.
You're right. I did write lying in the docket. Dang it. Okay, whatever. So, well, I'm just so upset. We were trying to help this girl. So long story short, they found out. You're right. I couldn't really do much, but my thoughts and prayers were for her. I legit prayed for her. I did.
Good. Okay, good. That counts. That counts.
And you know what? Well, let me finish the story. Okay. So so they found out that she had been searching things like actually let me look it up because it's not okay, it's funny because like I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable and because it's sad. It's not funny because it wasted taxpayers' money and it's
searching
not
for her.
Yeah, searching for her. But I will say, like, some of the things she looked up was just kind of like, okay. Okay, so here are some of the things that they informed us. She searched online for terms like Amber Alerts in a film about abduction. Taken. She looked into Taken. She was looking at, like, things with Amber Alerts. Let me find the exact thing she said. It was something like, does it cost money to do an Amber Alert? She took the food she had in the back seat. There's like a camera showing the food she had in the back seat to run into the woods. There was no baby. Like, that's the biggest thing.
Where was this camera? Was she, like, in a car?
On the highway. And it was a busy... Oh, you know there's cameras everywhere. The camera was on the highway.
Well, how did they see her grabbing the food?
Through the camera. You know those poles? They have cameras on them. On the highway.
Was she pulled over?
Yeah, she pulled over.
Okay.
She pulled over, and she got out of her car, went to the back seat, got the food that she got.
Like, packed a backpack. Was like, I'm going to disappear.
Yeah, I'm going to disappear. She, okay, it says she took a 600-yard car ride while on the phone with 911, even though she said she was, so she's on the phone with 911, and they traced her phone and everything, and she was actually driving 600 yards while she said she was walking, trying to chase this toddler. So in the interview, the guy was like, it was like she would have been running, and the toddler would have been running 6 football fields. And, like, just imagine on the highway. And she's saying all this stuff. And it's just like, and what is the motive?
Yeah, what's the motive? That's really what I'm trying to figure out.
What people are saying online. Now, this part, so everything I said is, I'll try to link something. I didn't want to necessarily make this a story, but I should have. I'll try to link something that has, like, everything broken down and has the press conference. They did a press conference about it yesterday. So you guys can hear all things. So what I'm about to say now is just speculation online. They're saying she was doing this to, like, get her boyfriend broke up with her, and she was trying to disappear to make him feel bad.
Oh, that's good.
And
that's
good.
And
she didn't.
I've thought of that.
And she didn't think it would be this bad. It would get this much traction. Someone online was like, "Girl, you're supposed You're supposed to have your friends call and say that you were in an accident. And that way it
Yes.
doesn't get as big as if you've been kidnapped.
Yes.
That's what someone on Twitter said. So,
Oh my gosh.
I know. I mean, it got his attention for sure. I saw a picture of him, very handsome young man.
Well, I'm wishing them the best of luck.
No, honestly, I'm wishing her some mental health help because that's just not
No, that's absurd.
not no. So before I found out the second part of it, before I found out how premeditated it was, I kind of figured it did feel fake to me. And I know people say like people use kids to lure, and like I don't want to say they don't. I don't want to say they don't. It's possible. It's quite possible. But I will say that was just kind of like, I'll tell you the part that I'm skeptical about. So I go on Reddit a lot, for those that don't know. And I was looking on Reddit to see like, especially for true crime stuff, I really enjoy, because 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be, oh, they were murdered. Their mother did it. Are you kidding me? Like that's, but I like to hear when people like will actually hear the facts and like, it was probably just suicide, something like that. A lot of times I'm like, oh, they were murdered. And then, someone lays out facts about like possible suicide. I'm like, the most obvious sometimes
The simplest answer is usually the right one.
Yep. So I went on Reddit to see what they were saying, and someone made a good point. If someone was using a child on the highway, now at your house in a neighborhood, maybe, but on the highway, how would they know that a young, beautiful, because I mean, let's be honest, part of the reason why she got this traction is because she's young and beautiful. How would they know a young, beautiful woman would be the one to stop? Because the average human would. One of our dads with a big, who carries a rifle could have stopped too. And what was it 50 attackers ready to pounce on him? Stuff like that was just kind of like, that's a little fishy. So, and that's kind of where I was. Now, is it possible that people, so here's the thing, that the negative side of this, which is why I think just like Sherry Papini, she should receive some sort of like punishment. She should, I think she should spend some time in jail. Just like Sherry Papini, it's the same thing, except Sherry Papini was missing longer. At least this girl realized, okay, the jig is up. People, like, my parents are on TV. She probably got, turned on TV, her face is there, so she realized it sooner than Sherry did. But the reason why, like, the thing that's so upsetting and, like, frustrating about this is two things. People are already very hesitant sharing when people are missing. Yeah. And I know I am. I'm skeptical. I also heard this thing too, like sometimes not to share because it could be like, if it's like someone's boyfriend, someone ran away from the abusive boyfriend, so then you don't want to share. So then, I think about that too sometimes. So people are already kind of hesitant about sharing. And then number two, we should, as society, we got to figure out what we're going to do about things like that. About like a child, if we see a child on the side of the highway, like, should we be stopping? Like, I want to tell you, don't do it. But then it's also kind of like,
right.
If you see a child right on the side of the highway, somebody has to do something.
Sure. Because a baby's not going to know. A bunch of cars, let me not run that way, or the wrong person is going to stop. And when I say the wrong person, someone who actually would hurt the child. So it's like, we don't want to stop that, but at the same time, you never know. I'm gonna share a quick story. Someone asked me about this, I said I'd share it on the pod. So 4 years ago maybe, I was driving to my ex-boyfriend's house. And he lived, to get to his neighborhood, you have to go through a very rough neighborhood. I see this girl walking by herself. I'm a girl's girl. I look out for my fellow sisters. She looks kind of sad and disheveled. Ask her if she's okay. She says she just needs a ride to the end of the block. I say, hop on in. Immediately got a pit in my stomach. So I'm like driving her. And she goes, can you turn here? And I'm like, okay.
And then she's like, turn here. And I'm like, okay. And then I start sharing, yeah, my boyfriend lives around here. And,
Yep.
I have a family. I go to a
Mm-hmm.
church. People love me. If something were to
Mm-hmm.
happen, it'd be crazy. I'm sharing all these things. Terrible pick. Because she's driving me around to this neighborhood that I do not know the neighborhood. Don't know where I am. And, like, I felt like I should help because in my head, my first thought was like, if I was walking on the side of the road, I would really want someone to help me. As a matter
Of
of
course.
fact, there have been times before I had a car where I would have to walk places and I would wish someone would help me. But
Yeah.
you don't know me from so and so. How would you know that I'm not a bad person? So, I like my stomach is in knots and everything. She's like, okay, this is the house. And I'm like, you did not say a house. I stopped her at the house. She asked if I want to go in. I said, oh, no, thank you. Have a good day. And then she like left and then I like drove away. And then I was just like, I cannot believe I did this. I cannot believe I did it. My stomach felt terrible. I do not know. Like in the back of my head, that was so not smart to me. And then I get to my boyfriend's house and I tell him what happened. He's like, why would you do that? And I'm like, because I was just trying to help someone out. And like, thank God that turned out well. Like, obviously it turned out well. I'm here.
So there's no like answer to what happened. Why you had a pit in your stomach?
Well, I had a pit in my stomach because I think that I probably dropped her off to a drug place. I think a drug house. I don't know. Like it wasn't like it just felt. I don't know. And she gave me sketchy vibes, but I was trying to help her. I don't know. It wasn't. It could have been fine.
It wasn't climactic. That's all. I'm
there wasn't
really
like a
glad
big...
that like you're good. I just was expecting you to say like a big reveal, and then it was just like...
no, there wasn't like a big no. I mean, nothing like really bad happened.
I thought you were gonna say like she went in and like
came back
you
out.
could see her like collecting money from I don't know, like
no,
I just thought
I like drove away so fast.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so sure, that could have been a completely normal. It could have been me.
No,
doing an Uber
trust
ride.
your instinct. Totally trust it.
Well, okay, and that's something that when I was a kid, I remember watching on Oprah. As children who will watch Oprah, I remember watching Oprah, and there was this episode where this guy said that you should always trust your instinct, and I remember him saying that, and I think it's the Christian Southern like in me that I try really hard to always be polite. In the episode, he said a good example is when you're in an elevator. If you feel something weird when someone gets into the elevator, just get off. You don't have to ride with that person. And I remember, isn't that kind of like, you're right, I don't.
What could happen in an elevator?
Are you kidding me? If it's just you and a man, he can stop the elevator and he can like attack you.
Wow. That's crazy.
But like, if
you have to get off though with him. I mean, there are cameras in elevators.
Not as much as back then. I mean, now, sure. But, like, not as much. But the whole point is, like, if someone makes you feel weird, or he could follow...
For sure. I just never thought about an elevator.
Or he could follow you to your apartment and...
Right. Oh, yeah, that's something I'm very aware of.
Yeah, like, it's a lot of things. So, like, if you feel uncomfortable, then just get off on another floor. What? You have an incident? Tell.
I have a segue.
Okay.
Because we really need to start talking about our actual stories. A segue for if you ever feel uncomfortable is to you could wear SKIMS, because I've heard that like a woman who wears like spandex and like lots of layers is like less likely to get attacked because it's like takes the attacker like more time. You see what I'm saying? And then like by the time they've like taken your clothes off, you can like have attacked.
Oh, wait, what? I've never heard that. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, if you're wearing like...
And that makes sense.
Okay, this is really... I'm just
gonna
have to use...
podcast. It's girls.
You're gonna have to use your imagination, but like a girl wearing a skirt, right?
Right.
Versus a woman in like pants and like boots. Like, think about who's gonna be easier to like attack.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good point.
So like when I was living in a really sketchy area back in Montana alone, I would wear like layers to like prevent that. And I would have like obviously pepper spray on me. And I also had a taser. That was a wild time. But like it can help. It really can. And I think with how tight the skims are, there might be something there. I mean, they've prevented people from all kinds of things.
That is such a good point. They have even, according to one Skims shopper, they have even stopped someone from bleeding out.
Bleeding out?
Bleeding out, according to Cosmopolitan. So that's our next story. According to Cosmopolitan, a woman claimed Skims bodysuit stopped her from bleeding out after she was shot 4 times. Angela
Jeez.
Wiley, I know. That was my first thought. I was like, wait a second, girlie. Like, did they get him? What were you doing? Angela Wiley took to TikTok to share her story of how she believes the tightness of her bodysuit from Kim Kardashian's skin line stopped her from bleeding out after she was shot 4 times. Angela, who goes by Nina, was out celebrating the New Year in Kansas City, Missouri on January 1st and at around 1:30 while waiting for her Uber. The 22-year-old got caught in gunfire after hearing people fighting and seeing a man in a ski mask begin shooting. Quote,
Jeez.
Kim Kardashian saved my life. This New Year's, I got shot 4 times. The night I got shot, under my dress, I was wearing a Skims shaping bodysuit. It was so tight on me that it literally kept me from bleeding out. I recommend it. I'm definitely going to buy some more. I mean, I should wear it every day. It's like body armor for women. Call it fate or Jesus, but I'm going to call it Kim. I'm going to call it Kim for sure. And it turns out Kim herself spotted Nina's video after followers tagged the Kardashian in the comment section. Sharing in her Instagram stories just days ago, Kim wrote over Nina's video, "Wow, prayer hands," which is
With
so
3
funny.
W's.
Yes,
Powerful.
3 W's. Wow, prayer hands. So I found this story kind of funny and interesting.
It's wild.
Yeah,
Wild.
shapewear is saving lives. Have you ever had Skims? Do you wear Skims?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't mean to insult you like that.
I mean, how
Y'all
much
should see
are
her
they?
face. I don't know.
How much are they?
I don't know. Let me see. I actually, before this, it's so funny. Before this, I was thinking about It's an investment if you just are not super rich.
I
Or
mean,
if
what's the
you,
difference between them and Spanx?
I think it's, I don't know. I usually wear Spanx. Okay, so Skims.
They're like
Okay.
$50.
Well, I'm looking at the shapewear. Shapewear's like 80.
Mm.
Yeah, there's some like 72. Oh, there's some like on the lower end. This
There's some cute stuff,
bodysuit
Loki.
is 88. Yeah. Well, and I'm not like the biggest shapewear. I hate putting it on,
Oh my
'cause, like,
gosh. I mean, if it's preventing you from bleeding out,
well,
like it has to be super freaking tight.
yeah.
Like that's not healthy. I mean, that's cutting off circulation, my girl. Like
Okay.
think about like the pressure you have to apply like if you get Okay,
Yeah.
if
No,
you
you're
get a
making
cut, your
sense.
mom is like apply pressure. I'll get you a
Yeah.
Band-Aid. So you apply pressure. I mean, that pressure is like 5 pounds, 2-3 pounds of pressure you're applying.
Yeah.
Imagine that like all over. I'm
So
sorry.
here's the thing. And, I'm gonna sound like a shallow fashion girly, but you look really good. Like, when you're in shapewear, like, I don't like how it feels to put it on, but I've never worn it and not been like, wow, I look good. Like, and I know that's shallow. I know. So my motto is, I know people are like, oh, I'd rather be comfortable than look cute. I'm the exact opposite. I always say beauty over comfort. So if I'm uncomfortable for a little bit, but it looks good, whatever. That is me. I understand that is not everybody. If you are like that, let me know, because almost all of my friends are not like that. But yeah, I mean so that's why I was looking at it before this, and now I'm like, wow, I mean, it really does tuck you in. It
Yeah,
really
I
does
mean,
suck you in. Like,
if I had like an event or something and like I had pregnancy weight, sure. But like I do DoorDash, y'all. Like I don't need to look like $1 million. And also I've heard for men, it's more attractive if a woman is physically comfortable than if she's uncomfortable. So if you're really going for attraction, then you should be comfortable.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Men don't know. Men do not know.
They don't know what they want, or they don't know if you're in pain.
They don't know if you're, I mean, they know if you're in pain, if you're like, yeah, I am. Thank you. Yeah, they know that, obviously. But you can be in pain and be like, yeah, girly. I mean, there's times I've worn shoes specifically because, like, the way my feet are shaped, if I'm going to wear a cute shoe, it's going to hurt my feet. Like, if you ever see me in cute shoes, they're hurting my feet, just an FYI. But you probably don't know that because, like, I want to look cute at that moment and I'm sucking it up. So, like, you know, guys don't know. And guys don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So,
Unless,
yeah.
you, like, I feel like a lot of times girls are, like, taking off their shoes because we're like, I don't want to stand here in a line for Barbie with my shoes on.
Right. But then...
And that's unattractive to men because they're like, just wear normal shoes.
Right. But if they were to just see you out and about, they'd be like, ooh, she looks good. The moment they get to know you more, sure, then they might not like it. But... So, like I said, men don't know what they want. Okay. So, next story. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to the update on... Or should we just stick with pop culture? No, let's just go back and forth. Okay. So this is kind of an update. Sorry, I'm like talking out loud, everybody. This is what happens. This is a real podcast. So this is an update. I need to try to find the other episode, but I know, say Melanie did it with me last year about the Nebraska mom and daughter who were talking about abortion pills on through Facebook Messenger, and this was before. Oh, so it was over a year ago because it was before Roe was overturned. And this is from ABC News. So, Nebraska mom pleads guilty to giving daughter pills for an abortion and helping bury the fetus. A Nebraska mom has pleaded guilty to giving her 17-year-old daughter pills for an illegal abortion last spring and helping to burn and conceal the fetus. Under a plea agreement, Jessica Burgess, 42, of Norfolk, admitted to providing an abortion after 20 weeks of gestation. False reporting and tampering with human skeletal remains. Charges of concealing the death of another person and abortion by someone other than a licensed physician were dismissed. Interesting. Burgess was accused of helping her then 17-year-old daughter, Celeste Burgess, in her pregnancy. Madison County District documents show she ordered abortion pills on the internet. After the teen aborted the 29-week-old fetus, the two burned the remains and buried them in a field north of Norfolk in northeastern Nebraska. Authorities later found the burned fetus. Jessica Burgess is set for sentencing on September 22nd. Two of the counts against her are felonies and one is a misdemeanor. Celeste Burgess, now 18, was charged as an adult and pled guilty in May to removing, concealing, or abandoning a dead body. She is scheduled to be sentenced July 20th. Via Facebook messages, the two discussed terminating the pregnancy and plans to destroy the evidence. The messages, with law enforcement acquired using a search warrant, were detailed in court documents. According to the documents, the daughter talked in the message about how she can't wait to get the thing out of her body. She also said, "I will finally be able to wear jeans." In one message, Jessica Burgess told her daughter she had obtained the pills and gave her instructions on how to end the pregnancy. Last summer, a man pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor for helping the woman bury the fetus on his parents' land. He got probation. So, that is an update. They are being, justice is being done. They murdered a child, and the mother aided in murdering her grandchild, which is crazy, and justice is being served. Freeman, you want to go first? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll go first. So my question is, what is the pro-choice response to this? Because obviously the pro-life response is, it doesn't matter if a human being is killed in the womb. It doesn't matter if a human being is killed outside the womb. That's horrific. It doesn't matter if they're discarded in a garbage can. It doesn't matter if they're remains are donated to science. Doesn't matter if they're burned in the woods. It's horrific. What is the pro-choice response? Is it horrific because it was done in an illegal way? Or would they say it's horrific because it killed an innocent human being?
Would they even say it's horrific? When this story first broke out, there were a lot of pro-choice people like, well, this is what happens. This is what people are going to do.
Yeah. And it makes me think of a few things. Number one, like, what would the authorities have done if this had happened in like Oregon or New Jersey or Vermont or somewhere where the legal abortion limit wasn't 12 weeks? I mean, I wonder if they would be horrified, saddened, or be holding anyone to any kind of justice. You know, like, it seems to me like it's so selective to say, you know, well, it's bad because it was 29 weeks and it was done outside of the confines of an abortion clinic. I mean, it's the same outcome. Like, I also think, what would they have done if this had happened at 11.99 weeks? You know, what would they have done? Would they have said, oh, like, this was a mishandling of human remains, therefore you're fined? Or would it be held as a criminal trial? See what I'm saying? Like, it's just so inconsistent to me that, like, we're, like, horrified that this is happening to, like, a 29-week-old baby. Like, oh my gosh, like, the baby could have survived outside the womb. Like, yeah, but, like, it's the same child. The same child. Doesn't matter when, where, or how. Like, I hold this person responsible just as I hold the abortionist responsible. They're no different.
Agreed.
So why are we so horrified that she's done this and we have no problem with the same thing happening down the street? Another thing it makes me think of is the need for awareness about embryo adoption. Andy and I were talking about this the other day, and stop me if you don't agree with embryo adoption.
What do you mean? So if it's already been created?
Yeah, so the human being has already been created.
I mean, it's already created. You gotta do something with it.
Exactly. So
let it live.
Exactly. So, like, I feel like if we could create awareness for, like, embryo adoption and say, you don't have to kill this child. You can give this child to a family that wants to nurture this child through all 9 months and beyond. Like, I think it's adoption just like any other adoption, and I think it's a viable solution to this kind of thing. What do you think?
Because if it's already created,
then
it's already created. I think we are going to, so this will be a good segue for our next topic, but we'll talk about that in a second. The thing is, if it's already created, then anything else you do with it is wrong. It's already a human being. Egg meets sperm, human. But really before that, I want to go back to something else you said. You were asking about, I know what I was going to say. The arbitrary time that we have, 12 weeks. It's just so arbitrary that we will continue to see things like this. If we don't get a concrete time. And the only concrete time that A, makes sense and B, is consistent is when egg meets sperm. At the moment of conception, life must be protected. This arbitrary time, you know, and like you made such a good point. If it was in New Jersey, what would happen then? Like, oops, oh well, she just mishandled a dead body. We can't just have these arbitrary times.
It's moral relativism. And when we say, I mean, how many times in human history have we tried to define personhood based on how we felt? Like, how did that work for us?
Yes, that's such a good point, Freeman. Humans. So, and this goes back to, and the thing is, I don't want to just be like, Christian, even though that's just how it is. But like, this is why we have the Bible. This is why we have to have something concrete. I'm sorry. If you're not a Christian and you disagree, like, I don't know what to
especially
tell you.
When law, like, the law does not care about your feelings.
We have to have something that's concrete. The only thing that's concrete and consistent is the Bible. And I mean, I don't want to tell you, you can't keep going with your feelings. Back in the day, and I don't hate to use this example, but everybody uses this example, slavery. So many people thought slavery was fine and whatever. Then they changed their mind. I mean, even interracial marriage. So many, oh, we can't do that. We can't do that. And now, what's the percentage? I mean, it's not like a super high percentage, but tons of people do it, and it's not that big of a deal.
And there's still people. I mean, there are always going to be people that think this is okay.
Always.
There are always going to be people that think interracial
Slavery
marriage is
okay.
like against God's plan, right?
I mean, there was that tweet that just went viral last week. But that's why there has to be some sort of standard. And the only standard that is consistent is the Bible. That's the only thing we can, because Hebrews 13:8, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So everything there stays consistent. Consistently, we know murder is wrong. That's a consistent thing throughout the entire Bible. Murder is wrong. So there has to be something. Having an arbitrary time we're going to see more things like this. And it causes so much other disarray when, this is perfect example. North Carolina, we now have a 12-week ban. South Carolina has a 6-week ban. The last time I was at Love Life, last weekend, were you? No, you were there. Last week at Love Life, it was 56 people, 56 moms.
55 or something, yeah.
55. Well, it was 55, and then that one came in while we were praying. 56 moms, because there's just this arbitrary time, 12 weeks. So then people are scrambling. They're going to do this, and that, and that was my thought was like, I've never been there where it was 56 moms. It was. Sorry, that was a weird hiccup. It was overflowing. I mean, you guys,
parking lot full.
The parking lot was full. This girl, she had to pass where we were praying, and that spoke volumes. And honestly, it broke my heart, because I was thinking, like, okay, is what we're doing not, clearly what we're doing is not working. Like that. But then I started thinking it's, people are pushing. They're trying to get within that time, so they're pushing it. And really, then my next thought was like, that's why we have to get it completely abolished. This is exactly why it has to be completely abolished. This is why, all right, I'm about to get on a soapbox real quick, and then I'll get right off. This is exactly why we need to be voting for politicians that believe in complete abolition of abortion. That they believe that life begins at conception, and they don't want to do a 12-week, they don't want to do a 6-week, they want to do a life at conception. A protection at conception bill. That's why we need it. I hear when people are frustrated when it seems like, so for example, North Carolina 12-week, that's all we could get. I know a couple things from behind the scenes. There were people who would not, if it was less than 12 weeks, they would not have voted for it. They would have been
like Republicans?
Yes.
Oh.
They would not have, I can tell you more offline. They would not have voted for it if it was less than 12 weeks. We cannot be voting for those people. We cannot. That is how we get 56 people in a facility in one Saturday morning. People are coming from all over the country, from South Carolina, I'm sure, and people are trying to get them in as quickly as possible. That's also how, they're trying to get them as quickly. That's how there's like sterilization issues. There are issues with privacy. There's issues with, if they're doing it too quick, like, can that hurt someone?
Health issues.
Health, that's the word I was looking for. Health issues. There's so many issues. And it's because we cannot be voting for squishy pro-life Republicans. We need to be voting for people who believe in life begins at conception, and we should protect it at conception. Go ahead.
And the politicians that do believe in life at conception and will be unapologetic, we need to be holding them to a higher standard than just being anti-abortion.
Yes.
We need them to be pro-life.
Yes.
Because not only will they get our vote, and they will get our full endorsement, and they have free range on the podcast, and they have free range at all our events. Not only that, not only will it be beneficial for them, but the whole new generation of pro-lifers, you and I, and everybody listening to this podcast, is going to be behind them.
100%.
It's literally just a smart political move to be
100%.
anti-abortion from conception and willing to put in resources and time and energy into PRCs.
100%. And I will say that bill, it talked about education for single mothers. I can't remember the exact details, but it talked about education for the single mothers. It also talked about money going to PRCs. These are great things. These are things that we absolutely need. I'm not necessarily dogging the bill. It's just that 12 weeks
Right.
that can no longer be acceptable. It can no longer be acceptable.
I mean, like, a baby can feel pain around that time. So
Yes.
that's not the sympathetic thing to do.
No.
That's not loving. That literally has no effect on me.
It's arbitrary. It is an
Yeah.
arbitrary time. I do not understand why they picked that. And, you know, it's just an arbitrary time, and we will continue to see things like this if we do not support politicians that are unapologetically pro-life. Our next story, switching gears completely.
Y'all, if you thought I was opinionated before this, you don't even know.
Yeah, you should see, like, she wrote a huge paragraph on the docket. So, the next story is brought to you by EB Magazine. This happened probably a month ago, but there's still so much to it, and I think it's definitely a conversation that's evergreen. So we're talking about the influencers that went to a sponsored trip to China for Shein.
Sponsored trip.
Influencer slam for going on Shein sponsored trip and spreading, quote, propaganda about the working conditions. A social media influencer is now getting slammed for spreading propaganda. Let me add to this really quick. This was, like I said, about a month ago. On Twitter, they are still dogging this girl. Anyway. After giving Shein a glowing review on their working conditions, model and influencer named Danny has come under fire for reportedly spreading propaganda, according to some TikTokers. Earlier this past week, the social media personality uploaded a video of her sponsored trip to Shein, given that the company beaming reviews for the so-called work ethics. She since turned off the comments on her Instagram post following the backlash. Quote, "The China trip has been one of the most life-changing trips of my life. Getting to see the whole process of Shein clothing from beginning to end with my own eyes was so important for me. I was really excited and impressed to see the working conditions. The video shows clean facilities with numerous men and women working on production lines. She visits the Innovative Center as well, which features high-tech equipment. She jokes that she's an investigative journalist. Shein is just such a developed and complex company, and it was beautiful to see firsthand. I was able to interview a woman that worked in the fabric cutting department, and you guys know me. She's an investigative journalist. She's talking about herself. So I asked her all of our questions, and she answered them honestly and authentically. She was very surprised at all the rumors that had been spread in the U.S., and she told me about her family, her lifestyle, her commute, her hours. Our last stop was the Shein warehouse. This place was massive. The warehouse in the clip was nearly 84 acres and ran by automation. Danny said she was impressed by the extensive checklist each product had to go through before getting shipped off. I think, quote, "I think my biggest takeaway from the trip is to be an independent thinker."
And nothing says being an independent thinker like posting things in communist China.
And getting the facts to see it with my own two eyes. There's a narrative fed to the U.S. and
From communist China.
And I'm the one that always likes to be open-minded and seek the truth. So I'm grateful for that about myself and hope the same for you guys. End quote.
Nothing says open-minded and freedom like communist China, baby.
So I want to go first because you have a lot more to say.
Please go first.
Okay, so full disclosure, I don't remember, but this dress is either Shein or Boohoo. So there's that. This might be Boohoo, but it also could be Shein. Because realistically, you know, Boohoo, Shein, Pretty Little Thing, they're all kind of the same in Fashion Nova. So full disclosure, what is really hard about this, about Shein, you know, this is capitalism. Shein is cheap. They make actually cute plus size clothes. I mean, that's the other thing too. It is very difficult to find cute plus size clothes. And let me tell you where you're not gonna find them: a thrift store. And I know a lot of you are against fast fashion. And if I can ever get this weight off of me, I will be against fast fashion too. But you're not gonna find cute plus size clothes at a thrift store. So that's the first thing. So like that's where it is hard for me.
Yeah.
Is you want to find cute clothes that aren't expensive, and Shein does it. You know, there was that thing about the chemicals. Couldn't care less about that personally. Whatever. If they're in my skin, they're in my skin. I'll be honest. The thing that really gives me pause is working conditions.
Yes.
The thing that makes me even more is like, well, why aren't I saying that about Amazon? People were wearing diapers working at Amazon. So this is what's hard. I'm giving you full disclosure. I don't know if I'm going to stop. I think it's something to talk about.
Yep.
And I don't want to seem like a hypocrite because what's wrong is wrong.
Totally.
But I want to be honest with you guys. You might see me in a Shein dress tomorrow. You know, like it's hard.
So it sounds like you don't believe her. Is that what you're saying?
I definitely don't. Okay, so I said this about the he's not real. I want to believe her. There's a part of it that,
what's the he's not real?
You know, the airplane video.
Oh right, yes.
Yeah. I want to believe her. I want to believe that she got a real.
You're a believer.
She saw the good part of the Shein. I want to believe that. I do. But I know that's not
I'm sure she did see the good part, which was 1%.
Yeah. And I just know it's not true. Really quick, when I went to China, really quick, seriously. When I went to China, we went to Alibaba. Let me tell you something. That company, obviously, you know, once again, we didn't see the full. Well, Alibaba is just Amazon, but in China. And they also have like a government component. They have this technology where they can control the stoplights. And that right there, I was like, whoa. So like if there's, you know, they get called, an ambulance needs to get to the hospital, they can be the ones to change the stoplights, which is like a private citizen, but because it's China, it's not necessarily a private company. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. We honestly saw the really nice part of it. We went to the, went into like a boardroom meeting. They had like this technology that was just like, you know, in Marvel movies, how they have the screen and like the icons pop out. That's what it was. You can tell it was the coolest thing. We couldn't take pictures or anything like that. Amazing experience. So like I want to believe that she saw something like that and she's like, guys, this is really what it is. In another video she said, you guys are all just xenophobic because you don't believe, and it's like, oh girly. She like doubled down. There were some people who here's like the tea part about like the tea non like civil rights part about the trip. They only asked plus size and minority women to come on this trip. Now, what I'm about to say is not me being mean. I am plus size and a minority, so I would have received an invitation, would not have gone, would have received an invitation. So this is just me expressing how the industry is. They invited girls who do not get invited to things normally. Normally, you're going to see Alex Earls. You're going to see Addison Rae's. You're going to see Charlie's. Girls like that. And there's two things those three girls have in common. And that's what people want to see. Those girls are not invited to things like that. Now, realistically, if you're thinking, like as a business, they invited those girls because those girls they knew would say yes. They would jump at the opportunity. Someone like I'll use Addison Rae. I feel like she hasn't done anything in a really long time, but I'll just use her because she's a famous TikToker and we all know her. Addison Rae probably could go to China on her own and have her own experience. Not only that, Addison Rae is going to be asked by, like, maybe not like Chanel or anything like that, but she's going to be asked by, like, I don't know, she's done brand deals with big people, you know? It's more than a Shein. And if we're all being honest, part of the reason why we like Shein, or one thing, an understated thing about Shein is, like, the clothes are kind of wimpy and they're gonna break. But, you know, like Loft or Ann Taylor, things like that, they're classier. That's more of who would invite Addison. They're not going to invite these plus size minority women. That's just not what they're going to do. And, you know, Shein knows that. Shein knew that these people were going to do that. They knew that they were going to accept that opportunity. And I think that's just something to, I think there's something there with that. I think that's something to think about. Like, if I were on that trip, I would look around and be like, this was purposeful. I'm a fool. I would have to stay because, you know, you take two routes. You either double down and you say, yes, you guys are xenophobic. You all hate Chinese people. Or you fully back out, do a retraction, and then, like, pledge to donate somewhere. There's only two routes you can really go with this. So yeah. Well, Freeman, what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, my thoughts are, I'm somewhere in the middle. I mean, I'm definitely not afraid of Chinese people, but I am afraid of forced labor.
Yeah.
So
that's the part I care about. Like,
yeah,
that,
me
like,
too.
whatever.
The human rights, like, advocate in me is like, I can't stand the thought that, like, what I'm contributing to is some environment, you know, across the world where people are being forced to work like 13 and a half hours with just like 2 days off a month, and, you know, having to, like, literally wash their hair in sinks on breaks, and like that's when they bathe. So, like, it's just really hard for me. But also, you think about, like, a lot of the reasons, I mean, if we're gonna boycott Shein because of their human rights injustices, then, like, boycott all of China, like, literally, and, like, Africa, and, like, don't buy lithium batteries because there are women, like, dying in these, like, lithium battery, like, caves in Africa.
Amazon, people are wearing diapers in the factories of Amazon. So, like,
I can neither confirm nor deny that because I don't know. I've never heard of that. I'm sure that's another conversation. But if that's true, literally, like, be consistent, folks.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and say, like, you know, I'm going to boycott Shein. I'm not going to do that because, like, if I get a new job, I'm going to need new clothes. Like, I don't have the money. I don't have the luxury of, like, going somewhere nice and getting new clothes. And that's also not to mention that, like, let's not pretend that Ann Taylor doesn't have slaved labor happening in China. Let's not pretend like Chanel doesn't even have slave labor happening. I mean, we all have slave labor. There's slave labor, like, happening everywhere. But what really irritates me is this forced shift to deny that this is even happening. I mean, most of us can acknowledge and not accept, but we can acknowledge and agree on the fact that it's happening. But if we can't even agree on the fact that this is happening, that's a problem. And I just want to say, this girl posted this in China. So, like, let's not pretend like she had any kind of free speech when she was posting this. This is propaganda. That's what China is known for.
You can get a VPN.
Do you think she got a VPN, or do you think she was escorted by the Chinese government to these facilities?
I thought you meant, like, she was in China when she posted her reel.
I mean, if it's something that supports the Chinese government, she wouldn't need a VPN.
Well, no. You just get one before you go. Like that. When I went, they said no matter what, always have a VPN when you go. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like she can still, and I mean the people in China have VPNs too. Some of the girls had Instagrams even though they weren't supposed to. Ooh, I hope no, I was gonna say I hope they don't get in trouble, but nobody there is listening.
Right.
But anyway, sorry. Keep going. All I was saying.
No, I get what you're saying, but my point is just like, you don't have any kind of freedom to, like, post anything that's not anything other than supportive of the Chinese government if you're in China, which she was.
Well,
So it just
with the VPN you can, but what I'm saying though is like what I think another aspect of what you're saying is it was a sponsored trip. So even with the VPN, she has to say the good things about Shein because they're paying for her trip.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like layers on top of layers of just like lies. And honestly, I feel bad for her because I don't think that she had any bad intention. I don't think that she like probably understands that she is being used and taken advantage of.
I think that you're right. I don't think she understands she's being used and taken advantage of. I think it's one of those hard things because if you're not self-aware or like if you have a lot of like that would hurt my feelings. Like if I realize, perfect example, my brother would tell me and he wouldn't mince words. He'd be like, yeah, look around you, you fool. You did this. You're being taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. And in your head, you have to, one thing, you can go one or two ways. You can be like, no, I'm not. You are jealous of me and this is my right. Or you can like feel like it would really suck and hurt your feelings and it will feel really bad. So you kind of have to, so you don't go crazy. You almost have to be like double down, which is sad.
Yeah, I think we're having two different conversations.
Okay, so you're saying, why do you feel bad for her then?
I feel bad for her because right, she's being used. I don't feel the same way you do in that, like, she's been taken advantage of along with all these other girls. Like, I feel like she should have had some sort of, like, awareness to say, this is shady. I mean, CNN has posted, like, there are women working up to 18 hours in these factories, washing their hair on lunch breaks, workers, like, literally only getting, like, half of their wage for making one mistake on an item. Like, I mean, this is public knowledge, so.
I will, not defending her, just playing, not devil's advocate.
Devil's avocado?
Yeah, sure. I'm playing devil's avocado. Maybe it was you who said that. If you, and this is a danger that we on the right can experience too. If the premise of everything is everybody's always lying to us, I can see a world where she's being told this is actually the truth. The U.S., the mainstream media lies. You know that, right? Girlie, like the mainstream media lies. Mm-hmm. So I can see a world where the actual company is sending you stuff and, you go see it with your own eyes. It's hard to dispute something when you've seen it with your own eyes.
For sure.
Especially, here's the other thing too. I think you and I, and not everybody listening, but some of us listening, everybody has different interests. So like we probably, like I did international relations. So there's people who know a little bit more background about things, and then there's some people who just don't. So, let's say this happened at a stock, something like that with stocks. I would probably believe what the stock guy told me. If he said everything's alrighty, let's take the picture, so like I can see a world where she can like, she's justifying it in her head, but the reality is you should know better. So like I also can't make an excuse for her. She should know better.
I think to sum it up, I'm gonna say I believe she believes that Shein is totally moral.
You believe she believes? So to be honest, I don't know, and I know I've been playing devil's avocado this whole time. I don't know if she believes it so much as like you gotta at some point.
You're in it too deep. You're in the line too deep.
You're in it too deep. You're gonna feel stupid if you don't. If you don't just go along with it. That's where I think she is.
Yeah,
that's
probably.
Where I think she is. You guys let us know. What do you think about Shein? I guess like Yeah, just let us know what you think. I mean,
I'm
it's
not,
so
I'm not
hard.
like trying to. I'm not in the place where I can tell people to like boycott it because I'm
Me
not in a place where
neither.
I feel like I can boycott it myself.
Yeah.
But let's just agree that this is happening, folks.
I think that, and I think agreeing that, like, how messed up is it they're trying to pretend like it's not.
Right,
That, I
exactly.
think, like, and I think you made a good point. Like, that is the real story here. Okay, sorry, really quick. I want to end on this really funny note. It's a quick 50-second video.
Okay.
You tell me your opinion. I'll tell you mine, and then everybody tell us in the comments. Okay.
Okay.
Then we're done. We're done. This is a long episode, but
Okay.
this is fun.
There are only two ways in which we humans perceive time. And I'm going to ask you a question so you can find out which one you are. If I tell you that Wednesday's noon meeting has been moved forward by 2 hours, do you now think the meeting is at 2 p.m. or at 10 a.m.?
Which one do you think?
2.
Same. Everybody, pause for a second. Okay.
If you think it's at 2 p.m., that means that you have the ego-moving perspective of time. You see yourself as moving forward through time. If you now think the meeting is at 10 a.m., this means you have the time-moving perspective of time. You see yourself as stagnant and as time moving forward towards you. Now, you might think that this is insane that someone even sees the world or time differently than you, but it's true. So ask your friends, ask your family this question, and bond with them or find out that they actually see the world completely differently.
I would say, well, you said 10 and I can't make it, no matter what I think.
Wait, what?
It would be my excuse to not go.
To what?
The meeting! I would be like, well,
Oh.
dang. I was, 10 was my only time.
Got
Can't
it.
make it.
Okay. Took me a second to register what you meant. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm
So
sorry.
what does it mean? We're ego? We have an
Yeah,
ego? Is that what it said?
No, I think it just means that we see the world going forward. I love these. These are so funny. I have no idea if it's true.
Right,
I like to
yeah.
believe it's, once again, I like to believe it's true because it's fun.
Mhm.
Let us know, which way did you see? Did you see it at 10 or 2? And then let us know, once again, what are your thoughts on Shein? What are your thoughts about what we said about abortion? If you're listening and you were kind of here for the pop culture part and you were like, abortion, let us know what you're thinking about it. Do you think that we should have it continue with these arbitrary times, or if you think that we should really get something concrete? If you're not a Christian, I'm sorry. That, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. The Bible's a concrete thing.
I'm open to anyone else that can make an argument that there's some time other than conception that certifies us as human beings. I'm open to it. I want to hear it.
Love to hear it.
Love to hear it.
You're gonna be wrong, but I love to hear it. And then
I'm gonna convince me, but I'd love to hear it. Sure.
And let us know. Do you think what's better, beauty or comfort? Like which one do you put forth? Or maybe that'll be the.
I don't think you have to choose.
Yes, you do sometimes.
No. Oh my gosh,
no.
Another debate is about to happen.
Beauty over comfort. Sometimes you do. I told you, like, if I'm wearing a cute shoe, just so you know, my feet are hurting. I don't have any other options.
But it's not like you're not beautiful if you choose to wear like.
No, not you
guys.
are. No. I'm not
just need
saying
to
you're
cut.
beautiful. I'm saying the clothes. I mean, you can have ugly clothes. No, not all clothes are beautiful. Oh, people are beautiful, sure, but not all clothes. Like let's straighten that out here. There are some ugly clothes. So sometimes you have to pick the more attractive clothes than to be comfortable. Okay, thank you so much for listening to Those Are the Girls. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. I think this is one of our best, personally.
Totally.
And share with all your friends. Let us know all the things we asked you earlier. Listen to it wherever you're listening to it. Yeah, I guess that's it. Have a good day, night, evening, wherever you're listening. Bye.
Bye-bye.